Hi, precious heart. Thank you for joining us for our weekly vlog. Today, the Company of Heaven will continue sharing important information about the various activities of light that were initiated by our Father, Mother, God in the Company of Heaven during our 500-year period of grace, which began a little more than 500 years ago. If you have not done so already, please watch vlog 85 and 86 to learn what the beings of light have shared with us so far about this critical period of divine intervention. Those activities of light pave the way for what humanity is experiencing now, and it will help you to see the bigger picture of what is transpiring in your daily life. In vlog 86, the beings of light shared with us the significance of the founding of what was referred to at the time as the New World. The intent of that facet of the divine plan was to create an outer world model that would demonstrate the unification of the family of humanity. The hope was that the New World would be a powerful example of people from all over the world coming together to live in peace and harmony. People who would revel in their diversities, sharing their culture, wisdom, unique gifts, and talents. The hope was that these people would co-create an environment that would allow all of them to live in equality, freedom, prosperity, and the unified pursuit of happiness. A little over 500 years ago, that facet of the divine plan was set into motion, and the archetypes reflecting our oneness of life and the unification of the family of humanity for the New World were anchored in the physical plane. This occurred after what was thought to be the discovery of the landmass we now call the United States of America. Unfortunately, 500 years ago, humanity was still functioning in the Dark Ages. Our human egos were effectively manipulating us through fear and suspicion. Even though the archetypes for the New World were successfully anchored in North America, and the divine plan, which was intended to remind humanity of the oneness of all life, had been established in the realms of cause, our egos were too afraid to allow that plan to succeed. At that time, any difference in race, nationality, religion, gender, culture, social, or economic status amplified our lack of trust in each other and perpetuated our fear. It became clear to the Company of Heaven that additional assistance would be needed in order for the sons and daughters of God who were being drawn to America to be able to free ourselves from the paralyzing grip of our human egos. Only then would our I Am presence be able to tap into the archetypes for the New World and bring those patterns of equality and oneness into physical manifestation. In an effort to help our I Am presences reclaim the power our egos had usurped from us, a plan was initiated that would enable us to see what would occur if we allowed our human egos to continue to control and manipulate our lives, instead of allowing our I Am presence to reclaim the path of divine love and oneness, which is our destiny. In order to accomplish that facet of the divine plan, a man in France was chosen to receive the divinely inspired visions that would reveal to humanity what would occur if we continued the path we were on. A little over 500 years ago, Michael de Nostradamus, known to us as Nostradamus, began transcribing his famous quatrains. Many people have criticized Nostradamus' visions for being far too negative, but the intent of those prophecies was to show us where we were headed if we did not return to the path of oneness and open our hearts once again to receive our Mother God's love. Not by chance, the name Nostradamus means Our Lady. Nostradamus stated that the events he predicted were an indication of the pain and suffering humanity would create for ourselves if we did not change our course of direction. The divine intent of that information was not to perpetuate fear. It was to motivate us into positive action. Our Father, Mother God never reveal to us negative predictions if there is nothing we can do to change the outcome. Any divinely inspired prophecy that foretells of a potential negative event is intended to be a catalyst for humanity to invoke the light of God and avert that event. If humanity does not avert the negative outcome of a divinely inspired prophecy, it means that we failed to accomplish our Father, Mother God's intent in revealing that prophecy to us in the first place. In other words, a fulfilled negative prophecy is a failed prophecy. In spite of the various plans that were set into motion 500 years ago, our human egos fought tooth and nail to maintain control of our lives. Many people responded to their heart's call and traveled to the new world, but most of them brought all of their fears and obsolete behavior patterns with them. People felt that the battle to free the new world from the British rule was justified in an effort to gain independence. But our human egos did not stop there. We inflicted unconscionable pain and suffering on our sisters and brothers through the abuse of power, slavery, prejudice, greed, and fanatical religious beliefs. Fortunately, when the founding fathers for the United States of America came to this country, they had an inner knowing about their divine missions. When they set foot on the land in North America, their I Am presence enveloped them in the violet flame to help them fulfill their mission. This allowed the company of heaven to effectively work with these dedicated men. They were not perfect by any means, but their desire to fulfill the divine plan for the new world allowed them to tap into the archetypes for divine government that had been anchored previously through the partially opened portal of divine government in Pennsylvania. With the overlighting guidance of the company of heaven, our founding fathers transcribed onto paper the archetypes for the new world and the oneness of the family of humanity. The words transcribed in the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States of America, and the Bill of Rights formed the template for the new world. These sacred documents clearly stated the principles of oneness and equality that are necessary in order for the family of humanity to live in peace. Unfortunately, our human egos have done everything they possibly can to block the manifestation of those truths. After all of these facets of the divine plan were in place, the company of heaven reevaluated the situation on earth. It was clear that a few people on the planet were awakening and some progress was being made by these souls, but there were millions of people who were still very asleep and being controlled and manipulated by their human egos. The beings of light realized that even with the various plans that had been set into motion, there were still great potential that the masses of humanity would not awaken in time to make it through the impending shift of the ages. With that realization, Alpha and Omega decided that humanity and Earth would need additional superhuman divine intervention if we were going to succeed in the unique experiment of making it through two-dimensional shifts in such a short period of time. Dear one, next week, the Company of Heaven will share the unprecedented divine plan that our Father, Mother God agreed to in order to help the masses of humanity and keep them from being left behind during the impending shift of the ages. God bless you, and I look forward to being with you next week.